Hello, this is CBIyer, lecturer in civil engineering of MHSSPolytechnic Byculla, Mumbai. I welcome you all to this session on site investigation and subsoil exploration. Under this, we shall be looking into the necessity of site investigation and subsoil exploration, the different types of exploration, criteria for deciding the number of test pits and boreholes, the different types of samples, disturbed and undisturbed soil sample. The learning objectives of this video session are as under. At the end of this session, you will be able to state the importance of site investigation and subsoil exploration, list the details to be collected during subsoil exploration, mention the number and disposition of test pits for various structures, enlist the methods of subsoil exploration, distinguish between disturbed and undisturbed soil sample. We now move on to the necessity and hence the importance of site investigation. Site investigation is required for judging the suitability of the site for the proposed engineering works. In order to prepare adequate design, in order to get economy in construction and safety in construction, it is essential that we judge the suitability of the site. It is required for analyzing the safety of existing structures or for identifying the causes of failure of existing structures in case of failure. It is required for understanding the availability of construction material and labor, for that is going to affect economy in construction. In short, it is done in order to get all the necessary information about soil and its engineering properties and the hydrological conditions of the site. An intelligently planned site investigation definitely helps in getting economy in construction. Reflection spot now. Now that you are already introduced to construction of highway engineering and railway engineering and also bridge engineering, list out all the details collected during site investigation in general and mention the stages involved in site investigation. Take your time, and once you are done, move on to the next slide. The first stage involved is site reconnaissance, for which a small team of members go to the site with minor survey instruments and collect data regarding the following: local topography, excavations, evidence of erosion or landslides, water levels in wells, streams, flood marks, and the natural drainage pattern, etc. The second stage is site exploration. Site exploration should give specific and reliable information which enables a design engineer to give adequate and economic design. The purposes of site exploration could be summed up as under: to get the following information regarding the order of occurrences and extent of soil and rock strata, to get to know the nature and engineering properties of soil and rock formation, to get details regarding the position of groundwater and its variation with seasons. In order to get those data as mentioned in the previous slide, we need to carry out our exploration up to a depth called significant depth. Significant depth is the depth up to which the effect of loading is going to be felt by the soil. It is generally taken as 1.5 to 2 times the breadth of foundation below the depth of foundation. Some guide rules in deciding the depth of explorations are given by the National Building Code, and they are as under. For isolated spread footing or raft footing, significant depth may be taken as 1.5 times the width of foundation. For adjacent footings with clear spacing less than twice the width, it is 1.5 times the length. For pile foundations, 10 to 30 meters or 1.5 times the width of structure, whichever is more. We now move on to the number and disposition of pits. Number and disposition of pits should be such as to reveal the changes in soil profile, the thickness of strata, and any major changes that is present in the soil strata. However, general guidelines are as under. For compact building sites covering an area of 0.4 hectare, one borehole or pit in each corner and one in center may be sufficient. For lighter constructions, one in center may also be sufficient. Larger areas are divided into grid patterns and cone penetration tests may be carried out at every 100 meters. The results of CPT help in deciding the number of pits then. On road sites, pits are usually made along the proposed alignment at 100 meter spacing, which may be increased to 500 meters for uniform soils or reduced to 30 meters in case frequent changes in soil profile are met with. Once we decide the number and position of test pits, the next is the method of soil exploration that we carry out. Exploration methods are generally divided into three broad categories. We have direct method of exploration, semi-direct method, and indirect method of exploration. Under direct method, we can have open excavations in the form of test pits or trial pits or trenches. Under semi-direct method, we have borings. Borings could be done with the help of an auger or an auger and a shell, wash boring, percussion drilling, and rotary drilling. Under indirect methods, we have sounding or penetration tests and geophysical methods. Depending upon the data that is required to be collected, depending upon the importance of the structure that is going to be constructed on the site, we choose appropriate exploration method. The samples that we get through these methods of site exploration fall under the category of either disturbed or being undisturbed. This slide tells you the essential points of differences between disturbed sample and undisturbed sample. Disturbed sample is one in which the structure of soil is getting completely altered or it gets severely disturbed. Whereas in the case of undisturbed sample, the original soil structure is maintained. Open excavations generally give us disturbed sample. Wash boring give us disturbed sample. Auger borings give us disturbed sample. Whereas split spoon samplers give us undisturbed sample. A disturbed sample is useful for general identification of soil and classification into a particular type. Whereas undisturbed samples are required whenever we want to find out the engineering properties of soil like permeability, shear strength, bearing capacity, etc. It is possible to maintain the natural water content of the sample when we withdraw disturbed sample by taking certain precautions. With this, we come to the end of our session. I extend my heartfelt thanks to one and all for listening to this. Thank you. Done.
Stop.